Today I'm going to give you 10 books to read in no specific order that's going to help you become a better leader. So look, every book I recommend you here has a specific purpose to it, every one of them, that has to do with leadership. But there's one book I won't say on the list today. You'll have to tweet me at Patrick Bet-David because I want to interact with you. At Patrick Bet-David, and I'll let you know what that 11th book is, but that's a bonus book. Send me the tweet, I'll let you know what it is. Having said that, let's get right into it. The first book I want to recommend is a book called I Love Capitalism by Ken Langone. Now, when you see the title, someone may say, well, I mean, is this about capitalism and politics and all this stuff? It's not. It's a story about a man who went from being a regular guy, coming up, starts working at a company, gets into the financial industry, and then all of a sudden becomes a founder of Home Depot, and they end up selling Home Depot, and he's worth around $3-4 billion from being a nobody. Ken Langone. But he explained so many challenges he faced, so many different subtle things he learned by dealing with different personalities that can absolutely help take your leadership game to a different level. So the next book I want to recommend to you is called Tribal Leadership. I recommended this book to all our executive team in our company about 9 years ago. Many of them read it. Obviously, most of them read it and they did a paper on it. But some of them read it twice. One of them read it over and over and over again to the point where 9 years later today, when I watch their agency grow, you'll hear them say things like this. That guy's a level 5 leadership. In our organization, we talk about level 1 leadership is this, level 2 is this, level 3 is this, level 4 is this, level 5 is this. This person's becoming a level 5. That person's becoming a level 5. Their entire executive team is preaching tribal leadership. And they've created a tribe that went from doing $0 a month to last month doing over $1.2 million in a single month, as we're talking about, in the financial industry, life insurance industry. They made this book their Bible to create a culture where everybody wants to keep advancing to the next level, and it's helped them work together. So I recommend this book because I think it's going to help you with your language on creating a better culture amongst your organization. So this next topic is a boring topic. No one likes the word accountability, but I'm going to tell you something here. The biggest difference on what happened in my business is I made a transition back in the days. I was so concerned about everybody liking Patrick Bet-David. This is 03, 04. So concerned. I wanted everybody to like me. What if this person doesn't like working with me? I want this person to be my friend. And then I realized they're not just here because they're looking for a friend. They're working with me because they're expecting me to lead them. The moment I understood the concept of accountability, it made everything better. Matter of fact, let me explain it to you this way. How many times have you had conflicts with somebody on your team and all of a sudden they don't want to deal with it because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to call them out. And I told them they're not working hard enough, or I told them they're not doing enough. What do you mean I'm not doing enough? I'm working my tail off. But because there was no specific way to measure them, you offended them. This teaches you to have a specific formula on how to measure them so they can't be upset because the performance they put up is tied to a number, not a guessing game of, I think you should be working hard. No. This will help you with that. So Leadership 2019, you got to be able to learn how to hold people accountable. That's why this book, Crucial Accountability, can help you with your team. So this next book I'm recommending is called The Leadership Secrets of Billy Graham. If you do not know who Billy Graham is, Billy Graham was a pastor who baptized over 210 million people worldwide. And one time he went and spoke in Korea, 1.5 million people showed up to speak. And by the way, this is not a religious thing. I recommend books by Muslims, Christians, Seventh-day Jehovah, Mormons, atheists, agnostic, doesn't matter. There's a lot to be learned from this book because of one chapter. One chapter alone can completely change your life. I think it's chapter 12 when he talks about how to deal with trauma and betrayal. It is going to happen in business. The more you move up, you're going to experience things like that. And most people have no clue how to handle it. And it becomes such a big setback that in many cases they lose their businesses, their career. They lose a year, 2 years, 3 years, simply because they had no idea how to handle that part. Best section of the book, chapter 12. You got to buy it and read the book by Billy Graham. All right, so this next book is by Gary Keller, who is the founder of Keller Williams, the largest real estate company in America. And he talks about the things he did in his first 20 years. And then eventually he was able to get focused. And when he became focused, how quickly that became a multi-billion-dollar company. And by the way, any real estate agent that's part of Keller Williams, if you ask them, what is it like being trained by Gary Keller? What is it like in being in those small leadership meetings? What is it like when you attend their conferences? Look what every single one of them will tell you about Gary Keller and the impact he made in their lives. This book, the one thing, anybody and everybody who wants to be a leader has to read this book. All right, so this next book is by John Maxwell. John Maxwell is probably known as the author that writes on the topic of leadership more than any other author. He's got so many great books on the topic of leadership, but this one's called 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And in this book, the reason why I'm recommending this book is because he explains specifically systems on how he got organized as a leader. And he teaches it in a way that you can immediately apply to your day-to-day life. So if you're not the most organized person and you want to figure out how to get more organized, this is the book for you, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. All right, so Malcolm Gladwell, a lot of great books, great author. People know him, many admire him. This book was my favorite book of his called David and Goliath, not David versus Goliath. And he talks about underdogs, misfits, and the art of battling giants. Why am I sharing this one with you? Well, in the world of business, as a leader, no matter who you are, you're going to face somebody that's going to be intimidating. You're going to say, how am I going to be able to go against this company, this competitor? Maybe you're in a company, you're trying to move up. Somebody wants that position that you want as well. You don't know how to compete against this person. How do I get that job over this person? How do I compete against this other small business that's in my community? The way he explains and tells stories, it is so inspirational the way this guy tells stories with data, stats, you know, linking them, like giving you perspective where you walk away saying, oh my gosh, I can go compete with a bigger person in the marketplace. So he'll give you a lot of clarity, hope, and conviction on knowing that you, as a misfit, can compete with other giants in your industry. All right, so here we go. Next one, pretty interesting. Handling difficult people. By the way, handling difficult people. Every personality is somehow, some way difficult to another person. So you may be watching and saying, oh my gosh, that's exactly the book I need to read. You may be difficult to somebody else. I may be difficult to somebody else. But everybody pretty much in somehow, some way is difficult to another personality, right? So this one breaks down how to deal with different personalities. I'll read the back. 10 types of difficult people, cause and symptoms, fight or flight, levels of difficulty. Some of the personality, he explains, the big bully, the big mouth, the brick wall, the constant complainer, the drama queen, the know-it-all. I'm not going to give you the rest of it. I highly recommend. It's a simple book, by the way, maybe 120 pages, 130, 140 pages to be exact. You won't be able to put this book down, and it's going to help you deal with the difficult people in your life, and it's going to help you see yourself as a difficult personality and how other people have to deal with you as well. Okay, so the next book I don't have here with me because I keep it at my home office, and it's any book on Patrick Lencioni I read. But the one I'm specifically going to recommend to you to read to be a better leader in 2019 is called 5 Temptations of a CEO. I mean, first time I read it, I said every single one of these temptations I faced, like one of them talks about your temptation of wanting to lower standards to be liked by everybody, and why is that something that every CEO experiences? And he goes through it in such depth where you say, I feel like this guy's talking about me. At least if you're a leader or an executive position, you're going to say, I feel like this guy's talking about me. And if not, if you're ever planning on being a CEO or a leader or an executive, this book will give you a lot of insight on what you're going to one day face as a leader. All right, so last but not least, on this list, this is the 10th one I'm giving you, but I got one additional bonus one I'll give you when you tweet me, and that is by Ryan Holiday called Ego is the Enemy. I'm a big fan of Ryan Holiday's books. I think he's an incredible author. He's a good friend of Robert Greene, who's a good friend of mine, and he's written other books like Obstacle is the Way, Trust Me, I'm Lying. The guy's a genius marketer. Some of the things he's done in his career are so creative that everybody writes about. But this one, Ego is the Enemy, I like how he writes because he's a Stoic as well. He believes in Stoicism. So the way he explains leadership, it's almost like the philosophy of leading with binary choices where everybody has a choice to lead. So it becomes a conflict-free method of leading by you learning how to influence other people. But this book breaks down how your ego gets in the way of becoming even a better leader than you are today. At every single level that I've led, every single time I've led myself, as I've ran a $100,000 a year business, a $1 million a year business, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year business. And every single time, you know what's been my enemy? This has been my enemy. Every single time. It's been the ego. Ego's always been the enemy. And every time I wanted to grow, it started with this year. So highly recommend every single person go get this book as well. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Okay, so now I told you I had one additional bonus book to give you, but I just realized I have 2 of these copies sitting here. One's the one that sits here because this one's highlighted. This one is brand spanking new. A gift was given to me. Nowadays, every time somebody gives me a gift as a book, I probably have it. So I'm going to give this to the first person that tweets me at Patrick Bet David Mario. Add this to the list of things for Noel to do. Send me a tweet at Patrick Bet-David. I'll give you the bonus book recommendation, which is the book of the month for all my employees and executives here at the home office. Send me a tweet. I'll let you know what the book is. And by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to Valuetainment, be sure to click on that subscribe button. And if you want to get notifications every time a video comes out, you want to be one of the first to get it, click on that alert button right next to it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.